He's turned.
He's trying to dodge the weather.
Yeah, well, he'll catch it anyway, so why don't you call L.A. and tell him he'll be late?
Man, I wish he'd start smoking again. He's driving me crazy.
Los Angeles, this is Albuquerque Center. We'll be handing off Air Force One a little later than expected. He has some weather ahead of him, and we'll lose ground speed.
Okay, Albuquerque. Keep us posted.
Roger.
Albuquerque Center, this is Air Force One.
Air Force One, this is Albuquerque Center. Go ahead.
Our radar shows no path to that squall line. We'll climb above it if possible. Any traffic? Negative, Air Force One. You are cleared to climb to flight level 430. Roger, Albuquerque, Air Force One out.
He picked a lousy night to go to Palm Springs.
It's a local condition.
I thought Air Force One said he was going to climb.
He did.
Well, then what's he doing at 39,000?
Well, that can't be.
Carl.
Air Force One, this is Albuquerque Center.
Air Force One, we read you, Albuquerque Center.
Our radar shows you losing altitude.
What is it?
I don't know. He's losing altitude.
Air Force One, are you reading? Air Force One, are you reading?
Well, that's not possible. See if you can raise him on UHF.
Air Force One, we're changing to alternate frequency. 269.0. You read Air Force One.
Carl, I have a transponder Mayday, code 7700.
I can't raise him.
All right, get me the call sign on every civil carrier in our sector.
Yeah, what about military?
Right, go to military, too.
Air Force One, this is Albuquerque
Air
Center.
Defense Command, this is
You are
Albuquerque
still
Center. We have a
losing altitude.
transponder Mayday on
Air
Air
Force
Force
One.
One.
Are you
No
reading?
radio contact.
Do you
Negative
read?
on UHF.
Do you read, Air Force One? Do you read? Air Force One, acknowledge, acknowledge. Air Force One, Air Force One, acknowledge.
All right, what about the call signs?
He's at 37,000.
Is there anybody underneath him?
No.
Didn't you make contact yet?
No.
Then go through Washington. He's got a teleprinter on board. And give me one of those cigarettes.
He's lost another 2,000 feet. Look, 35,000 and still dropping.
Air Force One, we show you at a level of 350.
34,000.
Do you read me?
32,000.
Acknowledge
31,000.
immediately.
30,000.
Air Force One, acknowledge.
29,000.
Air Force One.
We're losing.
28,000.
This is Albuquerque Center.
He's fading.
Air Force
25,000.
One, we are losing radar
23,000.
contact. I repeat, we are losing radar contact.
21,000. 19,000.
Air Force One. Air Force
17,000.
One. Air Force One.
15,000.
Air Force One.
13,000.
Yes.
This is the White House operator, Mrs. Madigan.
Oh, yes, yes.
I'm very sorry to disturb you. I have a call for the Vice President from Mr. Oldenburg.
Huh?
I have a call for the Vice President from Mr. Oldenburg.
Oh, all right. All right. Kermit, wake up. Wake up.
All right.
It's, that professor from the White House.
Oldenburg?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Vice President,
Yes, go ahead.
Mr. Oldenburg for you, sir.
Put him on.
Sorry to disturb you, Mr. Vice President. We've got some bad news.
All right.
The FAA has just informed the White House that Air Force One is overdue.
What does that mean, overdue?
The president was supposed to land at Farrell Air Force Base 30 minutes ago. They've had no contact with the plane for the last hour. Radar lost it near Winslow, Arizona.
Lost it? How do you lose the president's airplane?
Well, Air Force liaison informs me they've already begun a ground search and...
Well, come out with it, man. Is it crashed or not?
Air Force informs us that fuel exhaustion won't be until 6:05 a.m., so we won't know for sure until then.
Won't know if it's crashed?
If the plane is down, sir.
All right, I'll be over as soon as I can.
No, you better stay where you are, sir. I've already called Fred Toomey at Secret Service to put contingency plans in operation. He'll send additional agents to your house.
Well, are you sure that's necessary? So soon?
Well, sir, the president's plane is missing.
All right, then.
Excuse me, sir, I have Air Force liaison on the other line.
Well, keep me informed. Thoroughly informed.
Yes, sir. Mr. Vice President, I want you to know I'm at your disposal, officially and personally, sir.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Oldenburg.
Yes, sir.
I always thought that egghead hated my guts. Remember I tried to cut my throat at the convention? Called me the overripe lemon from Orange County.
Kermit. Do you realize what he just said?
Yes.
I know AP broke 2 minutes ahead of him. They outmanaged 3-1, Paul. My people are ready to drop.
Put this on the air.
I didn't have to call. Most of them came in when they heard. Yeah, really. Move it. Dedication, I guess. It's yours and what you pay. No, I'm all right. A little tired, you know. Right.
The old man was pleased. All his troops came in.
How long has she been here?
Since about 4.
I didn't know you came in.
I have a story to file.
Oh, it can wait.
Please, I want to file it. The German ambassador asked a few of us to stay for brandy after the reception. That's when we heard.
Any reaction?
Here it is.
You've had a long night. Why don't... We don't know that he's dead. We don't know anything for sure.
There must be something I can do here.
All right, come on.
I saw him 2 nights ago. We had drinks.
Let me see that ground-aware transcript. This is the last conversation between the ground and Air Force One.
And here's where they started into that thunderstorm.
Those planes fly through storms all the time, usually when they're serving dinner.
Why weren't they more careful?
Editor. Yeah, he's right here. Jones.
Where are you?
Arizona. The Air Force set up a search command post at Luke.
Listen, if those pilots see anything out there, I don't care what it is. If it's two jackrabbits rubbing noses, I want to hear about it.
Yes, sir.
There must be a herd of reporters. How are they treating you?
Cautiously. They're letting one TV film unit and one correspondent cover the pool. Well, it turned out that I'm the senior wire service man, so they picked me. I'm glad I came.
Just remember who you're working for.
Now listen, Gunther, fill me in from your end. The rumor here is sabotage.
Nothing official, nothing confirmed. They won't even admit it's crashed. Just missing. Their biggest worry is panic.
That makes a squadron of U-10s from Ellington. Now, how many choppers from Williams?
45, sir.
I want them in from Lowry, too.
Yes, sir.
Give me that jet trainer squadron out of Kelly.
Yes, sir.
General Dunbar will talk with you now, sir.
I've got to go, Gunther. I'll call you.
What about this over here? Well, Danziger takes responsibility for 35 through 47 on the uniform grid.
Yes, sir.
Give him a liaison channel with air search. No, check that. Have him route his communications directly through ground comm.
General Dunbar,
Yes, what is it?
this is Mark Jones, IP. He's designated pool correspondent attached to you.
Yeah, sure. Glad to meet you, Jones.
General,
Just stay out of the way.
I'd like to ask you a couple of questions. Can you tell us approximately where the plane went down?
We'll find it. Don't worry about that, Mr. Jones. If it went down, we'll find it.
I said if it went down.
Have you got Danziger?
No, sir. General Danziger, they say, is momentarily unavailable.
What the hell does that mean?
Well, he's in the...
Yeah. You got 3 choppers from 34B grid. The light better over there?
General, you said if the plane went down. Now, does that mean that you're discounting the possibility of a forced landing?
I didn't say that. And Doug Henderson's a great pilot, highly qualified. Nothing is impossible.
Do you think he crashed?
Yes. Bodine,
Yes, sir.
if you don't get me Danziger in 30 seconds, I'm going to lay a Shrike missile in there and blow him right off the pot.
Yes, sir.
Listen, Colton. Isn't there a gadget that automatically starts sending as soon as there's a crash?
Yes, sir, a CLB. A crash locator beacon that's catapulted from the tail of the aircraft on impact.
Well, if there have been no signals.
No signals have been picked up.
Why not?
Well, if the impact damage was too severe, it's possible that...
It's also possible, very possible, that the airplane didn't crash. Like if it was dematerialized.
Sir?
Blown up in the air, disintegrated.
Well, that's possible, too, sir.
The Vice President has offered a daring and original thesis, General. Of course, he means that every possibility must be considered, no matter how fantastic. Am I correct, sir?
Yes, yes, you are. We got to keep our minds open, General.
Sir, Chief Justice Hickman's clerk reporting. They've located him in Chevy Chase. He's driving here immediately.
I didn't call for Hickman.
I did, sir. Well, the fact remains that if there is positive intelligence confirming the President's death, Chief Justice Hickman must administer the oath of office. Of course, the oath may be administered by a district judge, as in the Kennedy-Johnson takeover, but I took the liberty of sending for the Chief Justice as long as he is available.
I'm not ready to bury Jeremy Haynes yet. I appreciate your thinking, George.
Well, there is the parachute.
What parachute?
It's a last resort measure for the President to use if jumping is the only way to...
Dear God. The President of the United States could be wandering around somewhere in the middle of Arizona. He'd be lost out there for days. Weeks. Lost.
any chance that Henderson could have brought the plane down in one piece?
No, if he did, we would have spotted it by now.
What about the parachute?
Well, this is pretty rough country, even for a trained jumper. But it's possible.
General, it's almost 12 hours since Air Force One went down. We've been isolated, but my Washington office tells me the capital's in chaos.
I know.
Well, I don't understand how the entire United States Air Force can't find the president's plane.
Unless Air Force One disintegrated, there's got to be a wreckage. And Jones, planes just don't disintegrate.
Wait a minute.
What?
There. Take us down.
This is 6 down 1. Stand by, ground control.
You know, it's impossible for an aircraft that size just to disappear off the face of the earth.
What a miss. Market dropped 100 points in less than an hour. The New York Stock Exchange has agreed to remain closed until we give the word.
What word? We don't know any more now than we did before the... You say it was flying through a thunderstorm?
It was more like a tornado.
Well, if it was that bad, he should have turned back.
Radar doesn't always measure the exact intensity of turbulence. You can't be sure until the flight recorder is salvaged. If then.
We'll have to bring the body back. The whole thing. There are problems, Mr. Vice President. I mean about the body.
The plane impacted on a rock ledge, then apparently slid into a ravine. There are no access roads. We have to lift in heavy equipment by chopper.
Everything's in 1,000 pieces, everything. Dear God. You wonder what he was thinking on the way down. Look, try to keep those details out of the press.
They're doing the best they can.
You can't have a dead hero in small pieces, General. It's rotten politics.
The pathology team is there now. We should have positive identification soon.
As soon as we do, we can arrange an orderly transition. In the meantime, I can brief you about the Chinese. God, how he clobbered me in the West Virginia primary. Myers, FAA, AFBI.
So I know, Mr. Myers. I understand you recovered the flight recorder?
We have to fly back to Washington. Now, if you'll excuse us, gentlemen.
Brought in another body.
Yes, that's the last one. We positively identified the other 8.
Frank Lowy was one of them. Well, for 10 years. Used to head the Washington Bureau for INA. How about the president?
It's the one you just saw. Identification now.
Men's shoes, size 9C, black. Elevated.
Jones. Over here. Well, the face is badly burned. So are the hands. Can't even get a fingerprint.
Give me some light here. Upper left, first molar. Lower right, first and second molar. Lower left, first and second molars missing. The anterior shows root canal therapy. Upper right, central. Upper right, lateral. Upper right, second bicuspid missing.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
Delta Charlie 30 approaching DC. Alpha leader over outer perimeter. Will hold pattern till you advise.
Son, get me Washington on the Red Fox 3
Yes,
line.
sir. General, you absolutely certain?
Patch me through ground comm on Red Fox 3, priority 1.
Fuselage section ready to lift. Please advise, ground comm.
There were 9 people on Air Force One, and we recovered all 9 bodies. And none of them is a president.
This is Howard K. Smith. As tension continues to rise in Washington, speculation that Air Force One may have been sabotaged has met thus far with no comment from official sources. Military observers say the Strategic Air Command has been ordered to full war alert. Peking has announced that this move can be only viewed as aggression and has threatened to take what it calls appropriate counteraction. In what could be the most bizarre development yet, there is an unconfirmed report from the crash site that pathologists are unable to confirm identification of the president's body. The only word from the White House this evening came from Assistant Press Secretary Hollinger.
That doesn't mean the president didn't jump. It just means there was an extra person aboard, that's all. And I want to know, Toomey, how that could happen.
We've checked every security guard at Andrews who was assigned to Air Force One. The airplane was clean.
And somebody hitched a ride, an extra crew member. I did it myself when I was in the service.
I've worked with Colonel Henderson too long. He wouldn't let his mother aboard unless she was listed on the manifest.
Could have stopped somewhere.
No, sir. It was tracked on radar all the way.
We could have parachuted.
Sir, we've seen every jackrabbit in the search area.
It took civilians to find the airplane. You're not so thorough.
You'll have to make a statement soon.
I'm not telling this country we can't find the president's body. Not me, not on TV, not like some clown.
Of course not.
It's just that if the Chinese feel we're indecisive, they might take advantage.
Look, General, I don't need you to tell me about public reaction. That's my business.
There is another possibility that he never got on Air Force One.
He was seen. I saw him. I saw the pictures.
I agree, Mr. Vice President. That was Jeremy Haynes who boarded Air Force One.
The point is, the president is gone. If he were alive, surely he would come forward by now. It is time. I sincerely believe it is time for you, sir, to assume authority.
Someone has to take command.
Nobody asked you, General.
Mr. Vice President, I have no need, I'm sure, to remind you how close the general was to President Haynes.
No need. No need, George. It's a hard time for all of us. It's just so darn confusing. You can understand how reluctant I am to assume any kind of authority when we don't know if the man is dead or alive.
Kermit, if Jeremy was alive right now, I think we'd know it. And right now, as difficult as it is, I must brief you on the Chinese situation. You have to be ready to carry out his decisions for the good of the nation.
Decisions? He didn't tell me about any decisions.
Well, excuse me, sir, but there were occasions when President Haynes failed to take you into his confidence. You may remember your speech attacking Senator Sharkey 2 days before the president appointed him as Secretary of State.
You fed me that speech.
Well, that only points up the president's unfortunate habit of sometimes not including his key people in matters of national importance.
Being left in the dark has concerned me many times. Not for personal reasons, you understand?
Of course not.
For the good of the nation.
Exactly.
I appreciate that, George. I appreciate it very much, but I still can't take over unless we're convinced.
Yes. General.
Colton? I see. Yes, thank you. He didn't jump.
How do you know?
They just found the parachute, sir. In the wreckage. Unopened.
Kermit, I'm sure you know you have the full support of Congress, the Joint Chiefs, and myself.
Yes, I know that.
We'll do all we can to help you carry on.
If, God forbid, China launched an attack right now, the whole fail-safe security setup would strangle without someone to authorize retaliation.
And that can only be the president.
Or the acting president.
Gentlemen, tell me about China.
Need a lift?
No thanks. I've got to stop by operations. I'll see you tomorrow at the Pentagon at 10.
Thanks for the ride.
Thanks for the company. Oh, and Jones. I'm glad you're a pro. Flight?
Yeah, fast. I've seen Washington unglued before, but these last 18 hours have really been hairy. Oldenburg called, then canceled 2 press conferences. Madigan's unreachable. Embassy Row is hysterical. And New York is howling every 10 minutes for an update. I guess I'm glad to see you back. Hey, you okay?
Yeah, it's a delayed reaction, I guess. I started feeling it on the way in.
I saw the pictures. You hold back anything that wasn't in the pool release?
Just the medical details. We're pretty gory, Gunther. The pathologists are certain the teeth were wrong, and when they got him put together, they figured he was shorter than the president. I'll tell you about it later.
Do you realize if Haynes is dead, Kermit Madigan is the president of the United States? Kermit Madigan.
Has Madigan spoken to the Chinese?
Right now, you can't keep him isolated.
Does he know whether the president's still alive?
What's he doing now?
Who's with Madigan now?
Has he heard anything about the president? Does he expect to go to the White House?
What's Madigan trying to hide?
Gentlemen,
Will the vice president make a statement?
Parachute?
No one gets in.
Kermit!
Damn egghead quotes Kierkegaard. Who was Kierkegaard?
He's a philosopher.
I know that. What I mean is he quotes him in the middle of a position paper on red china.
Kermit, Jeremy Haynes has been missing 1 full day. According to the Constitution.
Hester, please.
You are now the president, right now. You've got to make the decisions.
According to Oldenburg, the Chinese are ready to push the button any minute. Jeremy Haynes never told me a thing.
Well, then why don't you just take over publicly?
The man might still be alive. You can't just write him off.
Oh, for heaven's sake, what do you owe to